the unique thing about this election is that the NPP is presenting a candidate who has had or is having a past history as far as the governance of this country is concerned. The NDC is presenting a candidate who has also served as vice president and president before. So making the comparison between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and John Dramani Mahama shouldn't be difficult, okay? Then you move to the running mate bit. Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman has been education minister before. Dr. Matopoku Prempeh has been education minister before. So making comparison between the two in terms of level playing fields and deciding who is the most competent to be the good complement to a president is not difficult because all of them have had the opportunity before. In the terms of the running mate, it's a decision on whether or not you go for the education minister who scrapped teachers' allowances or the education minister who restored teacher training allowances. It's a decision on whether or not you go for the education minister who scrapped nursing training allowances or the education minister who restored nursing training allowances. It's a decision to be made between the minister who allowed teachers to teach for 3 years, 5 years, never paid them, and only paid them 3 months of their salary, as against the education minister who ensured that every teacher is paid a commensurate salary on pro rata basis, depending on the number of months or years that you have been paid. It's a decision to be made on the running mate, who once upon a time was an education minister and limited Ghanaians to the archaic ways of teaching using blackboard and chalk, and even failed to provide adequate chalk for the Ghanaian people to use, to the extent that when the then second lady was asked about the scarcity or inadequacy of chalk, she got furious and said they could not provide chalk. And then the education minister, who ensured that most of the schools that were using even blackboard and chalk, we scrapped that and provided them with whiteboards and whiteboard marker, which is modern, and still made sure that not a single school in this country was short of whiteboard in the country. It's a choice between the education minister who couldn't implement free senior high school for the poor people in this country and the education minister who was able to implement free senior high school in the first term of his government at a time that many people thought it was impossible. So making that choice between Professor Nana Jaine Opoku-Agyeman and Dr. Matopoku Prempeh, both former education ministers, should never be difficult for anybody at all. So I say that this year's elections, in terms of the NPP and the NDC, is the elections that presents the easiest decision-making platform for the Ghanaian people, because all the people who are on the ticket have had the opportunity to serve this country before. Put their scorecards on the table. Decide on who performed better in his role that he was given when he was in government. And so that's the uniqueness of this election. And that is why we in the NPP believe that we should serve, or we should do away with propaganda and go to issues. Let us put John Mahama on the table. When he was vice president, what can Ghanaians remember him for? What can Ghanaians remember Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for? And Mahama even had the opportunity to be president. Combine his days as president and his era as vice president. Let us put everything together. What exactly can the Ghanaian people remember him for? What impactful policies, what impactful interventions did he instigate in his government that Ghanaians can say that John Mahama did this, and therefore we think he's a better option? Then you put Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia there, and then let us also measure him. Then let us come to the personalities of the people involved, because mind you, NPP is there, NDC is there. All of us have people in the parties. But the two personalities who are going to lead us, what are their personal traits? In terms of corruption, their personality. In terms of humility, their personality. In terms of submitting themselves to the Ghanaian people and having that kind of temperament to deal with issues and not give us, retorting at us anytime we even make official requests and genuine demands from government. So this is what is going to happen in the 2024 election. And so I think that if political messaging and what candidates represent, are anything to go by, it's going to be very easy for the NPP to market and sell our candidates and our message. But what is important now also is how we are able to solidify our base, consolidate our base, make sure that while Dr. Michael Poku Prempeh is consolidating the base in Ashanti and the south, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is also making sure we draw in votes from the north. Every single 1 vote increase, okay, in the coffers of the NPP in the north is a reduction of votes for the NDC in the north. And over the years, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, even in his capacity as running mate, not as the presidential candidate, as against John Dramani Mahama, as the presidential candidate for the NDC, has been able to prove that he has what it takes to increase the votes and the seats of the NPP in the north.